CNS, peripheral nervous system, the peripheral nervous system that composed of the neuron and axon out the CNS. Neuron and axon that out the CNS is called the peripheral nervous system. In each axon that out the nervous system that is in peripheral nervous system that's called nerve fiber. Also, each neuron cell body of the neuron that out the nervous CNS out of the central nervous system that's called that rounded by the connective tissue that's called ganglionic neuron. Beginning of the sensory neuron, sensory ganglion that contain the sensory neuron with this neuron that is in the ganglion that rounded the connective tissue. Each cell is unipolar that have the axon axonic that divided into that axon and this axon that enter to the CNS into the spinal cord and the other to reach the target organ of that for the sensor to the skin, skeletal, adipose tissue. When this very long, but this that need to reach the spinal cord. This to reach the spinal cord. When that enters the spinal cord, from to the posterior root and to the posterior horn of the gray matter, and the two ganglionic supporting cells, two neuroglia that found in the peripheral nervous system is stellate cell. This is stellate cell when that are the neuron in the ganglion, stellate cell that are when the cell body of the neuron, always around the cell body of the neurons in ganglion. But the Schwann cell, other types, it's Schwann cell. Schwann cell that around the axon. This axon, when in the enter ganglion and out the ganglion, it's around the axon. This one cell of the Schwann cell that formed myelin sheath around the axon is that many layers contrast the oligodendrocyte in the CNS and the cell also nucleus and cell body when that also rests on the axon and become to the rounded the many layers of the myelin sheath. This random notes. This one cell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This cell body of the neuron, it's in the ganglion, and this become to the exit the ganglion. This about the neuroglia, it's 2. Still a cell in the ganglion around the cell body, and other Schwann cell around the axon. This connective tissue layers around the nerve fiber. Nerve fiber, this nerve fiber around this nerve fiber. This nerve fiber axon around the Schwann cell. Also around the endoneurium. Endoneurium is loose connective tissue around each axon. This around each axon is the sum of the connective tissue, the bundle of the connective tissue, of the axon that rounded the endonerium, also rounded that perineurium. And each is called fascicles. Each fascicles that rounded the epinerium. This epinerium. When that in the PowerPoint is very clear, it's very clear. This also this nerve fiber, axon, Schwann cell, endonerium around each axon, and the many axons that round the perineurium. Also this endonerium, this axon rounded the endonerium, many axon rounded endonerium, also round connective tissue is called perineurium, and this epinerium is thick connective tissue with the blood vessel that round each fascicle, this perineurium. This like the wires or cable. This is the cable seen rounded by the thin of the elastic or rubber. This like endonerium, and also that medium of the thick of this rubber that's called the like the perineurium, and is the cable, the chief cable. It's this very thick rubber that's called the like the epinerium, endonerium, perineurium, epinerium. This the somatic. This the somatic nervous system. When the somatic nervous system is the spinal cord, this H-shaped orbital fly of the gray matter, this posterior horn, anterior horn. When this the anterior horn of the motor neuron, this motor neuron when the axon that exits the spinal cord in anterior root, and these two form the skeletal muscle. That's when the releases of the acetylcholine. This somatic هو نقل السوماتيك نقل الإحساس الجسمي من السكين، من أي إحساس يبدأ ينقل من السنسوري، ينقل الأكسون to the sensory ganglion. The sensory ganglion, unipolar neuron found in this ganglion, and one that T-shaped axon went to the sensor receptors and others to enter to the spinal cord and posterior root, reach to this region, and the unipolar in this region that reach into the motor neuron. This motor neuron become to process this impulses and become this sensor اللي وصل لها تبدأ تخلص للعضلات. أنا مثلا وضعت إيدي على مكان حار، منه جاء السنسور إحساس يدخل إلى اليونيبولار، الجزء الثاني يدخل لهنا يوصل إلى الموتور نيرون، تتخذ الإجراء وتبدأ بتقلص العضلة الهيكلية للإيد، وبذلك أسحب إيدي بسرعة لا إرادية. هذا اسمه السوماتيك موتور نيرون الجسمية، سوماتيك موتور نيرون. ويكون النهاية بس هاي الأكسون، هاي الموتور نيرون، هذه terminal dendrites. These terminal dendrites, like the foot up down, this like the foot on the skeletal muscle. This this plate on the terminal axon, terminal dendrites of the axon. This become to the like the foot on the skeletal muscle for that releases acetylcholine that stimulates this skeletal muscle to contract. Further, autonomic motor neuron. Autonomic motor neuron in the lateral. autonomic nervous system اللي هو sympathetic and parasympathetic. autonomic motor neuron. This autonomic motor neuron يبدأ من اللاترال يدخل إلى أيضا إلى anterior root ويكون طبعا عندنا أسماء يجب أن نعرفها. عندنا هذا جانجليون، هذه جانجليون اللي هي connective tissue فيها high amount of collagen fiber وبداخلها تكون النيرون. يصلها من النيرون اللي موجودة بالlateral part of the gray matter of the spinal cord. يصل الأكسون يصيح لها pre-ganglionic axon. pre-ganglionic axon أو نيرون دائما هو myelin sheath. أما هذه ganglionic neuron or also called autonomic ganglion. And this also multipolar neuron. This multipolar neuron, when this axon, then synaptic axosomatic or axodendrites. When also send this axon, this axon got post-ganglionic neuron, unmyelinated, ما به myelin sheath. يصل إلى smooth muscle, skeletal muscle, also the cardiac muscle, also this glandular secretion, this ridge of the ending terminal dendrites of the postganglionic neuron that release the acetylcholine or epinephrine, norepinephrine, acetylcholine or norepinephrine. This central nervous system, when this autonomic peripheral nervous system, this somatic nervous system, this the autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic when when explain it in the anterior horn of the gray matter. Also this myelin sheath to reach the skeletal muscle that release acetylcholine, this skeletal muscle. Autonomic nervous system when this also in the two part of the sympathetic and parasympathetic and lateral part of the gray matter of the spinal cord, when this myelin sheath of the preganglionic neuron, when this ganglionic neuron of the sympathetic, when the parallel of the vertebral column, this release acetylcholine to the to this multiple neuron is unmyelinated to reach and release norepinephrine to the smooth muscle, glands, cardiac muscle. Okay. Also, parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system also in the lateral horn of the gray matter. This the myelin sheath, a preganglionic neuron with this ganglion when that near the viscera, near the visceral node like this parallel of the vertebral column is near the viscera. When near the viscera, also acetylcholine releases into the multiple neuron. This axodendritic, this synapses kind, and the axon postganglionic neuron is now the myelin sheath when that releases of the terminal dendrites for this acetylcholine into the smooth muscle glans cardiac muscle. Okay. Also the smooth muscle glans cardiac muscle. This above the sympathetic and parasympathetic ganglion. For the sympathetic, also flight or light. Parasympathetic ganglion is the rarest stage. Become this or about this. Autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic nervous system when that's the flight or fight، يعني القتال أو الهروب، ويكون هاي بحالة تحفيز، يعني كل الجسم محفز. مين يبدأ السباينال كورد الأكزون اللي سميناه بوست ganglionic أكزون، ثورة columbar division. خلينا شلون ثورة columbar division، وأيضا هذا cranial circle. عندي صور نشوفها. هاي عندنا السباينال كورد مقسم للسيرفيكال الأنقية، وأيضا للتيرمينال لللامبر و also the other. From the this region of the terminal to lumbar for the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system. When the axonic to become from the postganglionic nerve fiber from the spinal cord to the ganglionic. This ganglionic chain of the sympathetic ganglion is the parallel of the vertebral column. When the ending to this region and in this ganglion and in this ganglion the multiple neuron to reach the organs, beginning from the sympathetic when called that flight or fight. This becomes this sympathetic when the deletes the bubbles and become stimulate all organ except the digestive system and accessories of the digestive system. What is accessories of the digestive system? It's the digestive system when the stomach, the accessories, the liver, and the salivary gland, also the gallbladder. This become to the inhibition. But the stimulate when the deletes of the bubbles يتوسع، وأيضا increase the heartbeat, also increase the audibly breathing, become to the delays of the bronchi. delay the bronchi. It's the deeply breathing. Also, this becomes to inhibition and the secretion or adrenaline or epinephrine from the adrenal gland, and inhibition of the contact with the dilute of the bladder. So bladder is about the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is when the dark, dark rooms, and when the person go to the bed and very quiet and uh, become to see something in the bed, that's become is very afraid, and uh, the the heartbeat is that stimulate also the deeply breathing and become the erector muscle to contract that the hair stand up and dilute the eye, but the beginning, the first stimulates as the adrenal gland become to the release adrenaline is that epinephrine, and the ending of this axon, postganglion axon, is that release norepinephrine. When that also that two kinds that become to stimulate the heart rate, increase heartbeat, increase heart rate, also the deeply breathing, and become to the dilute the pupillary and stand up of the hair, and the blood it's dilute the blood vessel in the skeletal muscle and in the legs to become the runaway, and that's become the skeletal muscle is very strong because the blood richly in the blood, but the blood is that decrease in the digestive system because that's become to inhibit. But the parasympathetic ganglion is the rest stage. This rest stage يعني وقت الراحة لما الواحد يرجع من الدوام متعب ويأكل كمية كبيرة، بعد يصير القلب يدق بطيء، يتنفس هو يتنفس contract of bronchi when that also the of the pupillary and the inhibition all organ, but that stimulate the digestive system and accessory digestive system, and the stomach accessories is the salivary gland and the livers, and when contract the bladder. This about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. This autonomic nervous system that becoming sympathetic thoracolumbar, but this craniosacral فقط من الكرانيو الganglionic near the viscera, that's become to the parallel of the vertebral column, but this that near the viscera in the parasympathetic, also that release the epinephrine. This also to some synapses it's release acetylcholine. is called fight or flight. This was the stage. This explain in the next video about the sympathetic division is explained very